how to use Excel to basically copy your tables that you did by hand, put them in Excel, and have nice graphs to look at. So the first one I'm going to show you is the possible cross-tabulation that you've done. What's interesting about this is I don't really remember which one to use, which one gives us a better graph. So I'm going to put both of them up there, 2000, 2012, okay, the yes, and the no, just like the first table. And then I'm also going to highlight, make this one and do yes and no. Actually, I should probably move it over, so let me do yes here. I don't want them to touch, I'm a little nervous about that. Okay, so yes and no. And then 2000 and 2012, so depending on who you are, you might have one of these two tables. Can anybody give me the percentage of yes for 2000? 38% sounds good?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you have decimals, don't worry about it, just accept, okay, so we're going to have those two numbers, right? And then for 2012, the percentage of yes? 90? Okay, 90 and 10. Now you might have little different numbers. This is not, this presentation is not about the right answer, it's about how to do it in Excel, okay? And then so for 2000, yes, we should have 38 again, right? And then 62, and then 90, and 10. All right, now here's where it actually happens, okay? Basically what you do is you highlight everything that you enter. Please make sure, this is really important, to not highlight extra things to the left or to the right. Once you highlight empty cells, it'll think that those are missing data points, and it'll make your graph look bad. So highlight it, go to the Insert tab, and then at this point, since we're qualitative data, we really have two choices. We could do a pie chart or a column graph. I'm going to show you the column graph. Click the column, and then usually just click the first option. I'd really just have you prefer to do the first option, but if you want some 3D shapes, that's cool. I'm just doing that one. Okay, and then let me do the other one. So highlight that one, and insert column graph. There we go. All right, now notice they overlap, so I'm just going to move one so we can see both of them. No, I didn't want to do that, excuse me. Move over here. Which one, left or right, do you think is the better one? The left one, because it puts the two categories, these are the categories that I was asking about, right? 2000 and 2012. Now I'm forgetting which one it was. So let's re-highlight it. I think it was the first one. It was the first one. So our categories, just like I asked them, were up here. This is still accurate. There's nothing wrong with this, but it doesn't give us the information that the way we asked it. We were concerned about 2000 and 2012, and this groups the yeses, puts the years together, and the yeses here and the no's here. We don't want that. We want to see a comparison between 2000 and 2012, not a comparison between yeses and nos. Does that make sense? Okay, so make sure that you're playing with it, you get the right table in there, and get the correct graph. Okay, next, I'm going to basically just move these out of the way. I'm going to do the histogram, and the histogram is going to be the same as the where you're from bar chart. It's basically going to look the same, but I'm going to do the histogram. So, does anybody, I'm going to go back to your group because you already gave me your intervals. Was the first one 15 to 20? Is that right?
Yeah.
Or did you change it? Okay, 15 to 20, and then 21 to 26, I bet?
Yep.
Okay, and then 27 to 32, right? 33 to 38, and then lastly, or I'm not sure, 39 to 44, yep, okay? And then, so I'm going to label this ages, right? You can write age intervals or whatever, but they definitely mean ages. And then over here, what did I ask for? I can't remember if I asked for. Was it frequency for this problem? Okay, so frequency. And what do we have for 15 to 20? 7. Just go down the line.
11.
Okay.
2, 4, and 3.
Okay. Then it's just as simple as copying it over and highlighting what you just put in there. Please make sure to not highlight any empty cells, otherwise it'll create empty bars, basically. And go to Insert and do column graph. You could do bar graph, it doesn't matter. Column graph. I'll just choose the first option again. All right, now, this is only the beginning product. So we have our classes here clearly labeled. That's about basically the nicest thing about this. What edits should we do?
You have age somewhere.
Yeah, I should definitely change the title, okay? And I should probably label this as ages and label this as frequency. So I'm going to show you how to do titles and axis labels, okay? So if you click anywhere in the graph, which I am right now, but I'm going to click out and click back in, notice you'll see this 3-tab thing, design, layout, format. If I click out of that, all that will disappear. Watch. It disappears, right? Click back into it, and I'm in the graph tools. All right, we want to go to layout. And then your main two are chart title and axis title. I'm highlighting those right now. Can you see that? Okay, chart title is pretty simple. It's actually already there. So we could have just clicked in there, but sometimes you don't have a chart title, so I can click in there and basically change the name. If that frequency word wasn't there, what I just did would basically produce an empty box, okay? And so we can call like class ages, or maybe 135.001 ages, or whatever you want to call it. Just be fairly informative. And then I'm going to do label the bottom axis, so I'm back to layout, axis title, horizontal axis, that's the bottom. And then we want a title below the axis, and then see how it popped in that little box there? I can click in this box, give it a name. I won't do that, but you can. It's the same as before, so I could just click in there like that and change it. Then lastly, axis titles, vertical axis. You have 3 choices here, rotated, vertical, horizontal. I don't really care, but I usually do horizontal. If you like the other ones, that's fine, and you can go in there and write frequency. If I do that here, since we don't have really 2 classes of data like we did in the cross tabulation, like red means, blue means yes and red means no or whatever. You could leave this. I'm going to delete it. I'll show you how to delete it, but it doesn't matter. Maybe if we did like men and women in their ages, right? Then we'd have 2 for each class. So I can just kind of delete this whole thing by just highlighting it like that and deleting it. Optional. That is definitely optional. But you have to have for every graph a title at least. If you have a bar graph or a histogram like this, you need to have them labeled, the axis labeled. Here pretty much everything is labeled. I forgot to do it here. I probably should put a title in here as well for this graph. So this isn't complete. Every graph is going to need a title and labels. This would be percentage over here. Okay, so that's good. We can end that there.